Okay, guys, we're getting towards the end of this course, but you've just installed your personal brand website, you've installed your blog on your website, and now it's time for the bonus crash course in blogging. We're going to talk about how you can start a blog using your new WordPress site and basically how to become an industry influencer in whatever the hell it is you want to blog about. So, what you're going to learn within this bonus training section is why you should start a blog, and then how to create amazing blog posts that people actually care about. So there's a lot of blogs out there that are just kind of, they're there, but no one's really reading them and they're not getting the viewership and the traffic that they deserve. So we're going to dive into that. And then there's point number 3 is how to create a loyal base of readers. That's the core, the essence of any successful blog. And we're going to dive into how to actually do that. And there's number 4, which is where to post your blog and how to get more traffic. So that obviously ties into point 3 too, as well. So it's going to be really important for us to cover. And then there's number 5, which is the big one. It's how to monetize your blog. Now this is a crash course. We're going to go over these in a very high level, but it should definitely get you on the right track and get you excited. So before we dive into that, there's an important question that I want to answer. It's, should your blog be personal or professional? Now, there's 2 types of blogs out there that, from what I've seen. I've seen freelancers, I've seen consultants, remote workers have a blog that's just about their travels, where in actuality they do something else professionally. Now, that is an option. Your blog could be entirely personal. But the thing is, if it's just going to be about your travels or whatever that is, if it's going to be entirely about you, I would not attach that to your professional brand. And I guess there's a good reason for that. It's because I believe that a blog should be helping your readers and clients. That's the purpose, that's the essence of a good blog that actually works to get you more clients, get you more remote work, get you more traffic to your website. If it's just about travel, then consider this. Let's say you are a accountant and you happen to travel a lot, and then your blog, your personal brand website is about your service as an accountant, and then your blog is just about all of your travels. So who's going to want to read those blog posts? Well, probably people who want to travel or other travelers, and chances are they're not necessarily looking for an accountant. So there's no synchronicity between your personal brand website and your blog. So keep this in mind. It should be about helping your readers and clients. And if it had to come down to it, I would say make your blog professional. So there's 2 types of blogs within this. There's the personal journey blog, and that's sort of what we talked about there, and there's a service-based blog. Now, the personal journey blog and the services-based blog, you can pick either one of these 2 approaches to it, but the thing is you still want to follow the point 1, which is you need to help your clients or help your readers that are reading the blog. So the personal journey blog is perhaps a blog that's about your journey as a freelancer and what it is you do, your journey towards becoming the best accountant in the world, or your journey towards starting a successful business if you're an entrepreneur. That's a great blog. And then there's a services-based blog. So if you're an accountant, you're blogging about specific problems that your clients face, specific problems that you face within the realm and the industry of accounting, and how your service differentiates from that. So one is a journey sort of approach. The other one is this is the industry, let's talk about it sort of approach. These are the 2 types of blogs that work. Now, notice that the personal journey blog is not my personal travel journey. If you want to start travel business or anything like that, which is what I've seen with a lot of these blogs, then make sure that your entire business is specifically about travel. Okay? And I would separate that. So you can have a travel blog. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't have one, but if you do, make sure that your offer and that your personal website is dedicated around that. And if you do something else on the side, like you're an accountant as well, split it up. Build a second site specifically for accounting. Because it's all about traffic and it's all about who's actually going to be reading that and making sure everything synchronizes together. So let me grab a drink of water, and then we'll talk about why you should start a blog. So point number one is it allows you to express your thoughts and opinions to people that matter within your industry. You know, the whole thing, the whole essence of personal branding is having a voice, have an opinion about whatever industry you're in, and then express that opinion and put it out on some sort of platform. Now, there's lots of platforms for you to put that out on. You know, there's Facebook. You can have a personal brand Facebook. You could have LinkedIn. You could have YouTube. But one of the most powerful ones is a blog and a personal brand website because of the synchronicity there between those two things. So, of course, a blog will allow you to express these thoughts and opinions within your industry. And then number two is it allows you to prove your expertise and stand out. So if you're blogging about problems that you know your clients are facing and you're an expert within that particular industry, having a blog will allow you to basically prove that you are the expert. You know, it goes hand in hand with having a beautiful personal brand website. Number three is it allows you to solve your customers' problems and build their trust. So we've kind of touched on this before, but a big part of blogging is creating blog posts that solve problems. Because think about it, you know, someone's got a problem. What do? They type it into Google. You know, 9 times out of 10, I know I do that. So if they type it in and your blog post pops up, well, you know, you can pretty much bet on them potentially contacting you to help solve their problem. And then number four is it can be a great source of passive leads. It's an asset, guys. Once you start a blog, you know, it's there. Once you write a blog post, if it's valuable and if it's evergreen, which basically means that it solves a problem that people will continue to have as time goes on, and the blog post doesn't run out. You know, it's not like 10 problems in 2017. It's like, this is a problem that I know my clients face all the time when they're going through their specific sort of journey. If you have a blog post like that, it can be a passive source of leads, which is incredible. And then number five is it improves your personal brand rankings on SEO. So this kind of all relates to the Google search stuff and the great resource of passive leads. All of these things in a nutshell are just build a really strong case why having a blog, a personal blog, and that's professionally oriented is an incredible resource. So now that you know what makes a great blog, why you should start a blog, let's look at what makes a great blog. There's 6 elements that I've basically broken down within the blogs that I've written. I've written hundreds of blog posts, guys, and you know, whether that's for my clients or you know, helping others as well write their blog posts. But there's 6 elements here. Point number 1 is it needs to be personal and authentic. So this really, I guess, covers on how you write. Are you writing from a personal perspective standpoint? Are you being authentic with your own voice? Those elements make a great blog. You know, the way that you write needs to be the same all the time. And I recommend taking a conversational approach just so people can understand who you are and get to know you a bit better. And then there's number 2 is it should tell a story or follow some sort of a purpose. You know, that makes a great blog. So whether that's, like we mentioned, a journey sort of blog, or a story of trying to help and solve specific problems within an industry, that makes a great blog. And that's point number 3 as well. It should solve relevant problems. You know, your blog posts, each and every one of them should solve a problem. And there's point number 4 is it needs to provide value. So, you know, you can have a blog post that's short and sweet, and you can have a blog post that's super long. But the thing that both of them have to have in common is that they have to provide value to somebody. Whoever's reading these blog posts needs to, I guess, finish reading them and basically say to themselves, wow, that really helped me a lot. You know, put yourself in your reader's shoes. What do they want to see? How can you help them the most? How can you provide the most value? Number 5 is it must be easy to read and consume. So, you know, if you're within a, I guess, professional industry, there's a tendency to kind of use a lot of jargon and stuff like that. I would avoid that at all costs and make your writing, make everything just simple. Don't try to be too flashy. There's nothing more annoying than, you know, reading something that's just overly embellished and it kind of becomes difficult to read. a key thing to remember is just to make everything simple. Keep it simple, stupid. And number 6 is it's unique. So you're not copying, other people. You're not basically pirating blog posts. If you do that, by the way, your blog's going to be severely punished by Google. So don't just copy and paste. Don't just copy and then try to change a couple of the words around and that sort of thing. That's not going to work. You need to be unique. You need to have a unique voice, and that's the only way to get people truly interested in what you have to offer. Yeah. So let's look at the styles of blog posts that we might be able to do. There's 7 I've got here, and these are 7 different ways to structure each blog post to make it interesting and mix it up. So there's the list post, and this could be, I'm sure you've seen it before, like top 5 amazing places to travel to in the world. Top 5 being the list. Top 10 problems that accountants face and how to solve them. Top 3 mistakes that all marketers make when launching a product. List posts, okay? So it can be however long you want the list, but I would either make it a shorter list, so like, 1 to 5, or if I was going through the really valuable long form sort of blog posts, I would make it super long, like 15 resources, and just make it like an ultimate guide. And then there's the how-to post, so how to start blogging, how to travel the world while making money, how to become a freelancer. These are the how-to informational style posts. You can definitely take that style of post and incorporate it into your blog. There's the problem-solving post. So that's point number 3, which is like a specific sort of problem that your readers might be facing. It varies from industry to industry, but let's take university students as an example. So how to land that first internship straight out of university. That kind of solves a problem, or so it can be related to the how-to post, but it doesn't necessarily have to be how-to something. It could be talking about a specific problem and kind of going really deep into why that problem exists, and then basically how to solve it at the end. And then there's the current trend post. So there's a lot of trends happening all the time. If you are a lawyer and you know that Donald Trump just became president, you can basically talk about some of his policies and how they might change, the landscape of business law. That's a current trend that's happening, and you can structure it in a way which could be like Donald Trump's changing laws, what it means for your small business. That's a current trend, right? People see that, they're like, oh, wow, interesting, that might affect me. It's currently happening right now, and it's a trend. That's another type of post. There's the guest post. So, if you are a accountant, I keep going with accountants, but let's stick with that. And then you have another accountant that's a friend of yours or a colleague. You can basically get them in and get them to guest post on your blog, and they can give their expertise to your audience. There's number 6, which is the case study post, which is, you looking at a specific sort of story from somebody and kind of writing about that. It's a case study. So it could be, how this, developer started his own super successful freelance freelance business, and is now traveling the world. Case study, right? That's a case study blog post. And then there's the personal blog post, which is you talking about your thoughts on a higher level sort of thing, like you talking about the problems that you're facing, and kind of like your personal thoughts about a specific sort of topic within the industry, and making it really personal. Maybe telling a personal sort of story. That's another amazing method of blogging. So hopefully this gives you some ideas of different types of posts that you can incorporate into your blog if you already have one, or if you're just starting out. What you might even consider doing is doing one of these and then following up onto the next one and the next one, and kind of mixing it up, doing one each day or one of them each week. And it'll kind of give you an idea of how you like to write and what sort of blogs that you could potentially put on your website. Okay, getting traffic. And this is the big one. because there's no point in creating a blog if you're not going to get people to see it. There was a time where you could write a blog and you'd get traffic automatically, but the fact of the matter is that you need to basically supplement your blog with traffic. You need to be posting at places. You need to get people onto your website so they can actually check out your blog. And there's 7 ways I've got here for you. Number 1 is mention other businesses in your posts and ask them to share your blog. So if you're blogging and you're reviewing something, it's another style of blog writing, by the way. You could basically review a cafe, review a restaurant, review a co-working space, and then create an ultimate sort of review, and then tell them about it and be like, look, I reviewed this, I reviewed your establishment. Would you like to share it on social media? That's a great way to get some extra traffic. Number 2 is post it to personal social media. Now, of course, you've got your LinkedIn, you've got your Facebook and Twitter. I'm pretty sure most of you know that, but a blog should relate to all of these things. Like your social media should be directly plugging the content on your blog, because you want to get traffic to your site so you can get more, more jobs, more inquiries, and grow your email list as well. And there's number 3, which is posted to industry sites, so niche specific sites or major sites. So, if you're an accountant, I'm sure that there's some sites out there that are basically public domain that all accountants kind of go to and I guess collaborate on. If you find sites like that within your specific industry, you're gonna have to do some digging, because I'm not sure what industry you're in. But if you do some digging and find these sites, it's a great place to post. And within that as well, I'll also mention Reddit. So like basically large forums and things like that. Reddit is an amazing place to post your blog if it's valuable and solves a problem. Number 4, Facebook groups. My God, guys, I love Facebook groups, because there's literally right now a group for anything. And if you go into these groups, you can basically see what these people are talking about. It's a great sort of form of research for how you can find topics to write about, but also how you can get traffic. So if you've gone into a Facebook group, let's say your niche is let's say the digital nomad community. If you're within there and you know that people are asking about how do I get a remote job and that sort of thing, a great blog post that you could write about is a complete guide on how to get a remote job, and then post it in that group, and it will blow up, because it's a problem that they're all facing, and they're all there. They're there to communicate with each other. They're there to kind of ask each other questions and solve problems. If you post it to that group as pure value, you're going to get a lot of traffic. I wanted that to be a separate point entirely. And then there's number 5, which is offer readers something to download to grow an email list. So this is residual traffic. This is return traffic. Once you get someone to your blog, you don't want them to just kind of go and read your blog and then, scurry away and basically forget about you. You want to make sure that everyone who enters your blog has an offer. Now, if there's anything you take away from this crash course, it's this. You need some sort of an offer. It needs to be a free offer that you can give everyone who goes to your blog, and basically will allow you to turn them into an email subscriber, and then you can kind of run your email marketing and get more traffic on all the rest of your blog posts in the future. So that's a huge point. And the last 2 things are a little bit different. This is more on the, I guess, marketing side of things, which is pay for your traffic with ads. Now, if you've got an amazing blog post that solves a really hot problem right now, and it's currently trending, and it's also based on a trend, and you're like, wow, this has the potential to go viral, I am not opposed. If I had that sort of blog post, if I've written something like that, I would not be opposed to running paid traffic with advertising to that blog post. Facebook ads is incredible for that. There's many places that you can learn about Facebook ads, and I highly recommend everybody knows a little bit, at least, around running paid traffic, because it's so powerful today. And there's number 7, which is search engine traffic. So once again, if you know that whoever you're writing to, basically whoever's problems you're trying to solve, if you know what their problems are and you know what they're searching, you can write blog posts specifically around those problems, and then Google will pick your blog post up, and hopefully you'll get some search engine traffic to your blog as well. So these are all the ways you could potentially get traffic in a nutshell. I hope that's kind of explained, some of these things for you. I know people are writing blog posts that don't really know how to get it out to a wider audience. But these are the methods that I use, and I use all of them, guys. Every single one. Okay, so here's the big stuff. So let me get a sip of water. Making dollar signs from your blog. To know that the key thing that you need to know about this is that you need to funnel traffic into a specific offer on your blog. Like I said before, if there's anything you take away from this, it's the specific offer. So what does this mean? This means within your blog posts, you need to have a next step, a second step for everyone who's reading your blog posts to go through. The specific offer could be a free training. It could be a free course, something they can download. It could be a webinar. It could be a whole bunch of stuff. But you need an offer if you want to make money from your blog, because it'll allow you to grow your email list and it'll allow you to create products in the future. So this is just something that I really wanted to mention again right here in this post. But we're going to go into every single way that you can make money from your blog. So I've broken it down into two sections right now. It's from how you can make money from day one, and then how you can make money when you have an audience. So from day one, what you can do is you can craft an incredible offer that's too good to pass up and funnel all readers into it, which is a free training. It's just exactly what we talked about there, free training, and then from that go into consulting. So, if you're teaching, let's say you're an accountant once again, and you're teaching small businesses how to set up their books in an effective way so they don't lose money. Now, you've written a blog post about that. It's going really well. You've shared it everywhere. You're getting traffic to the blog post. People are reading it. They're loving it. But what do they do from there? They need to go to a specific offer. And then at the end of the blog post, you've got free training. That's point 1 and 2. They're basically similar. And then from the free training, then you have the opportunity to upsell them onto something else. Now, to do that, you can actually do that from day one. You don't need, a humongous blog. You don't need a crazy sort of portfolio or anything like that. If you just solve a problem within the blog and you prove you can solve it, and then you give them a free training, then, amazing. It could be a free training, a free strategy call, any of these things. Point number 2, write about specific problems and offer to solve them at the end of your services. So this is also, this is no longer consulting. This is specific problems. Within any sort of industry and niche, there's going to be a multitude of problems that people face. And if you specialize in solving them, then what you can do is you can write about the specific problems, how to go about solving them, give them at least the initial steps, and then at the end, offer them either a course or something that will allow them to solve the problem. So it could be a course, it could be your service as a freelancer, as a consultant. Basically, you're funneling them into your service in a nice, tactful way where you're helping them up front. And number 3 is recommend affiliate products and services in your blog. So, for example, myself, I'm a marketer, and I could write a great blog post about how to, make a course like this. And then I could actually recommend software solutions that allow people to host their courses, that allow people to create their courses, create beautiful videos for their courses, and how to create presentations. There's software solutions out there for all of these things. And within this blog post that I create, I could put an affiliate link, which is check these pieces of software out. And then if they decide to go ahead and start their course and use those links, then I'll get a bit of a kickback. So that's just a single blog post. And if it's, targeted on a growing trend, if I'm getting a good amount of traffic to it, it will basically make me money. And then once you have an audience, once you've funneled traffic into your blog, and once you've converted them into your email subscribers through producing great content, through having an offer at the end of it that they want to kind of accept, then you have an audience, and now you can offer certain things, you can offer advertising space to other companies. Now, the reason why you want to do that once you already have an audience is so you can approach them and be like, hey, look, I've got an email list of 5,000 people within the, I guess, accounting space. You're an accounting software. Why don't you advertise on my platform? I'll make sure that all my blog posts, have your ads on them, and it'll be great for you and great for me because you'll pay me for it. Or you can send out an email to your list, and that could be an advertisement as well with your sort of newsletter talking about your blogs, and at the end there's a little ad there, for whoever you choose to partner with. Number 5 is joint ventures with other businesses. So there's going to be, once you have an audience, there's going to be businesses that basically want to work with you, and they have their own blogs and have their own content marketing system. So now what you can do is you can decide to have a joint venture with another business where you create a piece of content together, or you create a free offer together, you create a webinar together, a training session together. Once you have an audience that's been built up from your blog, you can then go ahead and look for joint ventures and partnerships. It's a great way to make money. And this also happens with, let's say you're reviewing something or anything like that. You can basically approach these businesses that you're reviewing and get them to pay you a little bit of money. And then there's number 6, which is create something for your audience, and that's the big one: a course or a product. So this requires you, of course, to have an audience, and it requires your audience to like what your content is and to basically trust you. And once you've done that, you can create a simple course, a simple product for them. The course could be a digital sort of course, but the product, it doesn't even necessarily have to be digital. You can have a physical product, that sort of thing is pretty easy to set up. So these are all of your ways, I guess, of making money from your blog. Okay. Looking at some examples. Now, this is one of my favorite examples. It's someone that I actually read a lot because I'm into marketing myself. And I feel that his way of running content marketing, which is blog, is incredible. So we're on the Neil Patel website. This person is a marketer, but they are a blogger specifically. They're a content marketer that creates tons and tons and tons of content. And I'd like you to just take a look at his blog page. Currently we're at the blog. Now what you see, the first thing you see is from aha to oh shit. I'm sharing everything on my journey to 10,000 monthly visitors, okay? So watch my webinar to learn how to get 100,000 visitors a month to your blog. Great. And if you click this, it says, teach me how to get 100,000 visitors. You'll end up on a webinar where he'll give you a free training session. So that's what we talked about, right? There's a very specific offer that he's giving out to his readers. Let's go down and check out his blog. So his blog, as you can see, is like a basically an industry-specific helpful blog. He's a marketer. And by the way, he's entirely remote. He travels and works from anywhere. But he's not talking about his travels or anything like that. He's talking specifically about the industry that he's focused in. He does consulting, as you can see at the top, and he's got products. So how I generated visitors, how to write a Facebook status updates, how to create your content marketing, how to make it profitable, how to increase Pinterest traffic. So it's all about traffic and marketing and all these things. And there are lots of how-to posts, kind of framing himself as an expert within that sort of particular industry or niche. But what I want you to notice right now is that there's a lot of things here that are funneling, a lot of advertisements that are funneling everyone back into this very specific offer, okay? The webinar, the free training, because he's trying to grow his email list. That's the whole point. There's a little ad here. This is actually an ad right now with a smiley face. This is an ad, I guess, to join the webinar. All these things lead into the webinar. You know what? Let's open one of these blog posts and we'll look at something relevant to us, how to make your content marketing profitable, okay? So now we're in a blog post. And right here, this goes to his webinar. This is about him. So making it really personal, as we mentioned, is one of the most important things about blogs. And also the webinar, once again here, there's some free guides over here. There's a case study example here. There's the webinar again, and there's the webinar again. So as you can see, he's running his own ads. All the ads on his blog posts are directed towards his own specific sort of offer. Now, these could be ads for other companies or whatever that might be for you, but because he's got his own products right now and he's got his own special offer, then he's able to monetize his blog himself. He doesn't necessarily need other companies. Now, the next thing that I want you to notice is the length of this blog. I'm going to scroll down. So as you can see, we're not even halfway, and we're already just overwhelmed with content. I mean, it's just an incredibly long, helpful blog post. So there we go. We're down to some comments. So it's basically finished at this point. But as you can see, how to create your content market, how to make your content marketing profitable. He's really given you a bunch of value in here that you'll basically go away from and be like, wow, that was a lot of value. I'm really, really impressed with what he has to offer. And another thing that I want you to notice is, here we go again, there's another case study breaking up the content in there. There's another, you'd be sad too if you knew how much money you're leaving on the table. So as you can see, Neil Patel really sort of hammers home hard what it is he does and his sort of special specific offer. But he supplements that with some really valuable content that's super long and will teach you a lot. You know, there's a ton of links in here as well. It's got a million sort of backlinks. I'm sure that he's partnered with many of the companies and pieces of content that he's linking to, making sure that each one of his blog posts is, is as, I guess, super optimized as it can be. And I think it's just a great example of what a powerful sort of blog should look like from the marketing perspective. So you've seen all the elements, the offer, how the blog post looks, just the amount of value in the blog post for that specific person who needs it, the journey, I'm sharing my journey. So these are the, I guess, the awesome elements. And I thought this was pretty funny, but this is actually another blog that I want to show you. And this is a little bit different, but it's actually also really, really cool. And it's this here really made me laugh. It goes from aha to oh shit, we're sharing everything on our journey to 10 million annual revenue. So they've obviously worked with Neil, who's just a great marketer, and they've decided to kind of copy that little slogan right here, headline, and ask for an email address, which I thought was pretty funny, but it just proves to you that it works. The journey is really powerful. So Groove, what they are is actually, they are a support and ticket management software, okay? So they just sell technology. That's basically what they do. But the thing is, their blog post isn't about what they do. So this is what I mentioned before with the two different types of blog posts. It can be about what you do, or it can be specifically about some sort of journey that you're going on while you're doing it. So theirs is about their journey to 10 million in annual revenue as a software company. So what they're going to find is that their readers are going to be entrepreneurs and people who want to read about that journey and learn about that. And they've decided to go ahead and make their blog about that rather than making it entirely about this sort of software, support ticket system. And the crazy thing is, they're doing it incredibly, incredibly well. So let me show you some examples. So this is the way their blog post is structured. It's kind of like a timeline. It looks pretty. That's great. But let's click on this one. This blog post was posted on the 25th of May, which is, by the way, yesterday. And it's got 523 shares so far, which is insane. It's incredible. As you can see, they follow a similar sort of structure. It's an extremely long, detailed valuable blog post that just keeps on going and going and going. And then you see the little pop-up here, get a free ebook. I'd look into getting some pop-ups on your website as well. Just don't make them annoying and don't make them take up the whole screen. But look, guys, we're not even 2/3 through and it's still going. It's just a lot of value. And then you can see everyone's engaging with it. They're loving it, which is incredible. You know, this is a big technology business that, you know, they're all over the world. And the thing is, they're following these basic principles, and that's because they work. And I wanted to kind of really share that with you here. So, yep, these are, I guess, the two examples I wanted to cover. I really hope that this crash course helped you. In the future, I may actually, I guess, create a specific sort of course on blogging and how to run a profitable blog. But this crash course really, I guess, get you started, and hope you enjoyed it.